But I cannot wait to see where this goes, to see who the leaders are in 5 to 10 years. And honestly, I still think we're going to see the same leaders. I think we're going to have Google, Microsoft, Meta. I think they'll be we'll start to figure out what they're doing better than each other in this area by then.
Yeah, and I hope that we have different leaders over time. Yeah, so leaders in industry change over time. Sears was a leader in industry for a long time. They're no longer. IBM was a leader in the industry. They're still around, but they're no longer the leader in the industry for a long time. There's a company that a lot of our younger listeners might not know. Lehman Brothers was a leader in industry for over 100 years. For 100 years, they're no longer around. So leaders in industries can change. But yes, for the near term future, I don't see people dethroning the Mag 7 anytime soon.
Right. Add Palantir into this too. I think Palantir is going to be a leader. There's new and upcoming software development companies. JFrog is one of them. They presented at this conference as well. It's going to be a very fun ride for investors and for spectators.
A fun ride.
Yes, it
I'm going to
will be.
quote you on that. Put on a t-shirt. Nice. Nice. All right.
Excited to
So,
see where we go. I mean, we've already come so far in just the past couple of years with artificial intelligence. I'm excited and I'm a little scared.
yeah, and I want to talk about that. So, since all right, so I don't know how to word this. I'm going to read from the sheet here because it's really cool. Of the S&P 500 and the companies that report earnings, right? During their earnings call, how many companies do you believe cited AI as a term during this last quarterly earnings for Q1?
I would go like 85% is what I
So
would.
give me a number, the S&P 500. So 500 companies, how many of them cited the term AI in their earnings call?
Quick math in my head here. 480, let's say that.
You're actually way off. It was 210.
450. Oh, okay.
210. The 5 year average is 114. The 10-year average is 72. So if you go back to like Q1 of no Q2 of 2015, it's actually well below 10 companies even said AI. So this is how recent AI has been brought up.
Who's not? I want to know who's not talking about it, and I want to
A
short
lot
them.
of companies, a
It's
lot of
crazy.
companies.
Why? How is that
Yes.
even a thing? Because this affects every aspect of.
So let me get in on this. I could break down those numbers even more. So right. So
Okay.
I'm using factset.com and it's breaking down the S&P 500 and all the earnings that have been reported for Q1 of 2025. So they report those earnings between in March, April. No, is it? No, it's April, May, and June, right?
Yeah.
April, May, and June they report for Q1. So we're still in it, but 99% of companies have already reported. So it's a good time to look at these numbers. So the percentage of S&P 500 companies citing AI on earnings call, right? So if you go to information technology sector, 94% of them cite AI. If you go to commercial services, 55% cite AI. And it keeps going down from there. So you go down to like let's say healthcare, 37% of them have cited AI on earnings call. If you go at the very bottom of the list here for a sector, of all the sectors they have divided, consumer staples, only 12% of companies have cited AI.
That's unbelievable.
Yep.
That is,
Yeah.
I mean, it could do everything for you. I mean, straight down to scheduling your employees now. I mean, artificial intelligence can do that probably better than most humans can.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
and
utilizing counters and datas of individual stores. I mean, every time you walk in, it counts you as a customer, right? So
yes,
it can come up with your peak times and your troughs and all that stuff as far as like your customer data goes,
it
and
could
they can
even tell you
schedule
which
based on
coworkers
that.
are the best. They did coffee shops and which coworkers were actually the most productive and which ones were not helping
Yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah. Or in other industries, what coworkers are better at certain jobs
Yep.
versus, their peers and utilize them. I mean, this is,
So I mean that's going to help managers out tremendously because if you think about it, I've been a manager at a lot of big global companies,
yep,
and I would say if AI the computer program can look through video footage and scan in and what have you, and tell me which coworkers are underperforming, and then all I have to do is deliver the news to that coworker and say, "Here's what the computer says you're underperforming on." It takes me out of the equation 100% altogether, and there goes half of all lawsuits.
yep,
Half of all lawsuits are gone because now the human element's gone. They can't say it's human or they don't like me or this or that. The computer did it.
yep.
It makes it a lot easier for managers to performance manage poor performing coworkers out of the business.
I just don't understand. Even like Colgate Palmolive, which is a consumer staple, we'll use them as an example. I mean, measuring their sales, could really like streamline their logistics process and what Kroger's they're delivering to or Meyer they're delivering to more, who they're restocking the fastest. This affects everybody.
Sale,
So I
yeah,
mean,
all kinds of cells, and it can break it down so much faster, quicker. Anyways, yes, there's a lot that AI does, and so was I surprised at some of these numbers? Yeah,
yeah,
but I mean, information technology, almost 100% of them were quoting AI at some point or another.
yeah.
So
But I mean, it just shows that how much room there is to grow in the
yeah,
space.
and like I said, majority of all companies actually beat their estimates on their quarterly earnings for Q1. The ones that did not were the energy companies, oil and gas. They had bad quarters. They lowered their estimates. They're probably gonna have bad quarters again. The growth for the S&P 500 companies, the 500 companies that make up the S&P 500, the growth estimate for Q2 is 4.9% growth.
Okay.
So
And see, that's exactly why I think the stock market's not overvalued right now.
yeah,
Earnings were
right.
good.
I feel strong that we're good as well. So all right, Brandon, what else do you have, sir?
That's everything I had.
All right, perfect. You ready for some more crypto? Because who doesn't love some crypto
How
news?
did we miss the Circle IPO on last week's episode, by the way?
I saw, I read about something with Circle IPO.
Yeah, it was pretty big. It was
It's
actually a
re
pretty big deal.
Yeah, it that rings a bell. Like I did some research on it, but like nothing's coming to my head right now.
Okay, we'll move on.
We'll move on. Solana, I want to give an update on this. This is one I hold. I own some Solana. Unlike Bitcoin, this is not one I bought over 10 years ago and I got over 10 years ago and I've been holding forever. This is one I just recently bought. And I recently bought it because of Web3 gaming and all these other meme coins and all these other uses for Solana. But it just recently took a big drop down. So I kind of want to take a moment and explain what happened on Thursday. And what Thursday and Friday, you had somebody move something, it was somewhere around almost $200 million worth of Solana all at once out of Solana and transfer it to a different wallet and a different cryptocurrency coin. So they kept it in the crypto space, but they moved it from Solana and they moved into another one. But when they pulled it out just like that, it causes prices to drop really fast
I blame
because
Mark.
right, it probably was Mark. Because then if the market see that, oh, big drop, other people start selling. The computers that do the computer algorithm selling and buying, they start selling. The more people start selling, and it creates a market to where a price will drop dramatically because one person decided to move their money. And that's what happened. Solana is back up on the rebound. They are back up last time I checked to 152 and change. I'm pulling it up right now as I'm talking so I could give you an actual price that is currently it's at 154, so it's continuing to move back up. It's continuing to rebound from this event that happened, but that's what happened to it. I still believe in the future of Solana. I think it's going to have a great future. I think it's going to eventually be over $1,000 a coin. Now, how long is it going to take to get there? That's the thing. So when people hear that and they see that it's only at $154 right now, they think, oh, I can make a lot of money. Let me put in this now, and then by Christmas, I'll have millions. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I just want to be very clear. That is not what I'm talking about. When I say I believe in the future, because there's a lot of uses for Solana, I'm talking, in a few years, it could get to that point. Yes. I'm not talking by Christmas. No. So I invested in it. I've left my money in Solana. I still believe in this. There's a lot of upside here and a lot of things that can go well. Currently, they've had some 180 has been a ceiling for Solana, and I'm hoping it's going to break through and get above that 200 mark again and continue going, right? So that's just one of the things. I just believe there's so many uses for this. There's no reason why not to buy some Solana and own it.
Okay.
Brandon, any thoughts on cryptocurrency? I know you don't have many, and I know you and I disagree on a lot of things of crypto, but I like to
I
report
don't
on it.
know that we disagree on it. I just don't like the companies using the reserves for crypto. It's not that I don't think it'll go up. It's just that I think it's too risky for that. But that's harkening back to last week's episode. So, um, no, I mean, other than that, no, I don't.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Especially
And
Solana.
I still so yes, and you know, I have a lot of good investment ideas, and I do have some calls this week, but you know that's really all I have for crypto. There's not a whole lot going on. I know there's some crypto news coming out next month that I mentioned to Brandon. Still in the works. I don't have solid news on that, so I'm not going to report it. So I do, but
Okay.
that's still in the works. So that's coming up. Just keep listening, and hopefully one week I'll let that go.
Hmm.
Brandon,
No, I know. I know what it
final
is, but I'm
thoughts.
just saying.
Final thoughts.
Are we doing the final thoughts of this episode? Look, I mean, everybody, kind of freaked out over the ADP numbers this week. They glossed over one important thing, though, Dave. People who are keeping their jobs, 4.5% increase in wages. People who are changing
Yes.
jobs, 7% increase in wages for people who
Yes.
change. So inflation's down near 2% right now. Wage growth, 4.5%. We're in one of those situations right now, which, by the way, is rare, where wage growth is more than doubling inflation,
Yes.
which is probably why you see the leisure and hospitality leading in the job growth right now. It's because the consumer right now is fine.
The consumer is doing well right now, and they have the credit. Yes, household debt goes up, but it's continued. It's gone up forever.
The sentiment's
Um,
still low.
you know what?
I,
Don't even get me started on sentiment. I got on my soapbox about consumer sentiment
I
multiple
think
times this year on our
I,
podcast.
I have in my mind, I keep picturing like somebody doing one of these surveys like on the beach of Fort Lauderdale where people are chilling at the beach and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about the economy right now?" And they're sipping a margarita and they're like, "Oh yeah, man, we're in a recession."
I've been to Fort Lauderdale. It's beautiful beaches,
Yeah,
by
it
the
is good.
way.
It is a good beach.
It's great beaches. Yes. Yes. I'm going to Florida here soon too. So,
I like Fort Lauderdale, Destin Beach, and then over on the East Coast, Myrtle Beach. It's good times.
yep. That Destin's actually where I'm going next. So,
Nice, nice.
yes,
Destin and
Destin.
Clearwater, I think, is right next to Destin too, if I remember right.
Close to it, I believe.
Yeah, I
Close.
think
I don't know. I'm not a Florida type individual. I've gone to Miami for work before and other places for work, but Destin's for fun. So there you go. My final thought, duh, right? Yeah, that's what we're waiting on here. So my final thought, I still believe in GE Vernova. I like the data center, what Brandon was talking about, how we're going to continue striking these deals. The nuclear is back on the table in a big way for the American industrial complex, and that means huge news for GE Vernova. That's why I own it. I still recommend that to people. Another company I still recommend to people is Ares Capital. That's ARCC, still paying out a nice dividend. Again, this is one I started buying when it was around $19-20 a share. So I have it at a better price than what it's at now. Still at a good price for a dividend payment. I'd recommend, put 5% of your influx of cash that you have coming in a month into Aries Capital, not majority of it, just 5%. Start building a dividend position because it's good to have these that pay out dividends, right? I own Mo. I've owned Mo for that's Altria, if you don't know. I've owned Mo for quite a long time. I mean, I've talked about Mo for I don't know how many years, Brandon. I since we started this podcast, I believe I've owned Mo. Right. I stopped buying because it got too high. It got too high that now when I get my dividends from Mo, I just invest it in other areas because Mo has just moved up in price, which is great. I almost have a what if I do my math right now, I have over a 50% return
Nice.
on the stock, not to mention the over 10% dividend payment I get every single year.
Yeah,
So
which is awesome.
that's fabulous. I've loved Mo, but I don't recommend buying it right now. It does go up and down over the years. So I've watched Mo now for almost 17 years. This is how old I am. I've watched Altria for almost 17 years, and the stock price will go up and down. So I believe it may go down here eventually once people move out of safe havens and back into risky speculating. People might pull money out of Mo, or they might not.
Yeah.
But that's been the trend over the time I've watched it is it will go up in price and then come back down. When it comes back down, that's the time to buy
Yeah.
because it's very consistent. But
What
Aries Capital AR, sorry, go ahead.
I know, and what's going to happen there is when people go risk on again, Nvidia is going to take off.
Yes, Nvidia will, yeah, and that's why it's good to own Nvidia as well. But that's why I also ARCC, I own that one as well. That's a good dividend payment for me. Um, Nvidia is not one I currently own, but when people ask me on the street, which happens now, I don't know why, Brandon, but I run into people all the time. I say Nvidia's a good one to put money in long term. Is one I say. Put money in long term. Nvidia. I still say Google. I know you were hesitant on saying Google going forward. I still say it, and it's risen up lately. I would say the past month it is up 6%.
Wait, what did you say I'm hesitant on?
Google, Alphabet.
Oh, no, I am back to being good on Google.
You're back. Okay.
Yeah, and
You're
I've
back
owned
to
it.
being good.
I've owned it
Okay.
through the whole thing. I never sold it. I've
Yeah,
owned
you
it
and I
through
have
the whole
both owned
thing.
it through this whole mess that they've gone through, but I
Yeah,
I feel confident in them that, they're gonna win
Gemini,
out.
Gemini Pro came out. The 2.5 version of Pro came out, and I'm very impressed. So,
Okay, so there you go. All right. But that's all we got. So let me end it the way I started it with these sunglasses that now I can't see the screen.
yeah.
But I'm
Have a
gonna
good
end it this way.
have a good day, Davey Wonder.
Davey Wonder. All right. As always, we hope we've been entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.
Have a good night.